My name is Fred Brill. Bryłowicz było przed wojną. War was named Bryłowicz, but I changed it with my citizenship application. In America, you can select any name you want to. Responsible for this name, but I used both in the army. I used both names. So at this moment I am a major. When I finished the war, I was second lieutenant. We escaped from Poland. The family is from Warsaw. Before the war, my father was in the export-import business, and he had his warehouses and his business in Gdynia, which was Baltic
in the Baltic Sea
port close to Danzig. After the siege of Warsaw in September 1939, we were at the siege of Warsaw. When Warsaw eventually capitulated, my father went to the Italian embassy and spoke to his friend, and they put us on a train which was taking the redundant employees of an embassy, which was sending them back to Italy. We went on a train all the way to Trieste. We tried to go to Switzerland because my father had some money in Switzerland, and they let him in, but it was on the border of Switzerland and Italy in the mountains, and they let him in, but they would not let me and my brother and my mother. We had to return. They put us actually on a train which was going to Auschwitz. We escaped from the train which stopped in Vienna, from the train, and we went back to Krakow, to Poland. We stayed in Krakow with my uncle. It was December 1939. So on skis, we went with my mother and my brother. We went back to Italy. We passed the Italian border and we went to a place called Fortezza, and from there to Bolzano. And then my father was waiting for us, and then we spent many months in Trieste. A religious group of people who were going to open up hospitals in Africa someplace. And with this group, we went first to Yugoslavia, then by Orient Express, and then from Yugoslavia to Greece, from Greece to Turkey.
Right.
Then from Turkey, my brother and myself, we went to Syria and then to Palestine. That was Palestine, then it is Israel now. And we joined the Polish Second Corps, Polish Brigade, which was forming there. We didn't know Hebrew, we didn't speak any other languages than English and Polish. Returned later to Palestine and Iraq, and we were in Iraq guarding the British oil fields that they had over there. And then we joined the army, and after North African campaign, I was very young, so I got to a school, to Polish school made for Polish children of Polish refugees and Polish military, and I made my matriculation over there, and then with the Polish Second Corps, we crossed the Mediterranean again, and we were in the in the Second Polish Court until the war in we finished the war in Bologna. And in England was part of the resettlement court, which was part of the British Army, but it was a resettlement court for all the Poles who wanted to settle someplace else in the world, not to return to communist Poland. And that's more or less my history. I'm not a pacifist, but I think that every country has the right to protect itself. But in the 21st century, people could do that what they did in the religious times of the religion. That, you know, there was a guy took a stone and threw, and a big guy killed him, and then all the kings that were in charge of it says, "Okay, you won. Let's go and have fun." And they finish. They don't want to kill them anymore. So this is what my philosophy is, that there should be some way of stopping those stupid things that you see right now with Korea threatening country like United States and China. So yet just United Nations supposed to solve it. Mm-hmm. They should get rid of people like our idiot that we have in Washington right now, Trump, who wants to have a war. He wants to be a king, and he wants to have a war. People should try to talk. Nations try to talk to each other, trying to stop this stupid war. There's always somebody who makes money on the war. And, you know, people who produce arms, people who produce tanks and planes are interested in building the machines of war. Mm-hmm. If those people will put this money in something else and try to improve the human race and the human health, we will be better off. I was an artillery observer for my region, for my regiment, and you know, I spent a lot of time. You know, my regiment was down in the hill, and what I did, I got a bunch of Italian guys, and they were talking up on the top of the hill, taking ammunition and taking the wounded people down the hill. And then I was with my friend, who was my friend later, and he was my commanding officer. We used to be on the observation points. I was carrying the radio, operating the hand-operated radio, and we're giving the targets from the steeple of the church to our regiment and to group of artillery that we serviced. And you know, sometimes it happened that the whole steeple went down and was covered by rubble. And this is when I lost hearing on this ear, which was operated on, fortunately. And that was, I don't consider myself a hero. I hero with the young people who lost their life and never had future. And just because people like United Nations, the League of Nations, were sitting and talking and having meetings, but they didn't do anything to stop the war. That's my philosophy. The battle very well. I remember the smell of the burning human bodies. I remember the explosion of the grenade, of the missiles. I remember the whining of people who were wounded and were calling medic, medic, medic in all the languages that I know. Yes, I remember those things very well. And those things give me and everybody like myself. For years, I didn't want to think about it, and I didn't want to remember it. I didn't talk about it. Until a couple of years ago, when I was invited to Poland, and I went to Poland, and I spoke to some of the people that went through the same thing when they were with the Polish army, which was under the Stalin, and went all the way to Berlin. They told me exactly the same stories that I had. Those people told me that they find that they have to talk about it. If not, next generation will make the same mistake. They're going to have people who make money on war, and in their interest is to have war, and to hell with the young people who die in this war. Well, you know, everybody who is an adult went through many things that were in his life and were not to his satisfaction. But if somebody can make a evaluate all the things, and you give a priority to the things that you know, that you stop thinking and seeing people that you don't like, because it's a waste of time. Try to think about people that you like, that you want to help them, and you feel the same way that they have. So, you know, you learn to say, why waste the time of talking to this person when he's not interesting and I don't like him? And I don't care what happens to him. I wouldn't do anything for this guy unless I could try to save his life. And that for me is the value of a man who can exclude the bad things from his life and just give priority to the better thing in their life. Yes. Yes.
Do you remember?
I was young, and many times I had enough. But
So what kept you going then? What were you thinking? You had no family there.
well, what I was thinking, very difficult to know, you know. You were scared, and you were hoping that you survive, but, you know, you still had to go, especially, you know, being young and being a Jew, I wanted to prove that I'm not scared. I decided I'm going to do something which I never did before. And I went up and I put a hand grenade on the sill of a window of a bunker.
Mm-hmm.
And then I ran around the corner and the grenade exploded and killed everybody inside of it. We found later 9 people. They were killed over there because they had ammunition inside, they had grenade and they had all sorts of things which exploded. And I lost the hearing on this ear that time. Yeah, that was the time that I had enough. Being human during the war means trying to, when you have a choice between killing a German, which more or less was my own age then, or let him live and put him with our doctor, that means being human. Another thing, I remember today a friend of mine who was very badly wounded, and he was obviously a very orthodox Jew by bringing up, asked me whether I can find a rabbi who can give him a minyan. You know what it is?
No.
Rabbi who can give him
Last blessing or something like that?
blessing.
Yes.
Bless. Our rabbi was very busy with hundreds of people who were wounded
Mm-hmm.
down in the field hospital, which was in a very short distance from the thing. But I grabbed a priest, a Catholic priest.
Mm-hmm.
I told him, Father, he had, he had cross on his.
Yes.
I said, Father, my friend is dying. He's Jewish. I can't find a rabbi. Can you please? Oh, I'll give him. I give him last rites, but you don't try to convert him. Let him. So he grabbed him by the hand and said, repeat after me. And he said some sort of a religious thing which he gives to the last rites,
Mm-hmm.
And I think this makes him human in my eyes. Like, well, it sounds funny.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you, I just would say to try to do something good in life and leave behind yourself a monument
Mm-hmm.
that you are a good person and not perfect, but you are a good person and you try to do your best to help somebody or do something creative.
Mm-hmm.